Hello, Fall Obsession family. This is Pro Staffer Heather Sellon.
And Staff Manager Todd Sellon.
And welcome to another Couch Chat. As you can see, we have a new addition to our family. This is Oakley. She is, how old is she now?
She was born in November, so what it was, December, January, February, March. So about 5 months old.
And she is the half-sister to our bird dog, Remy. So we are super excited to get her out into the woods soon.
And she has a ton of energy. They talk about how Vizslas are red tornadoes. That's exactly what she is.
She is a red tornado.
Her and her sister get together, holy smokes.
Yeah, so we are super excited to get her out and about, and we are thankful always for Westwind Kennels and Karen and Val and Mike and breeding great dogs and really helping to train us as we learn
about Vizslas.
Yeah. and about Vizslas. So
never had Vizslas before. We've had a lot of mutts.
Yeah.
We tend to go to the kennel and just kind of get rescues. So Remy and Oakley are the first two that we've actually invested in quite a bit, quite substantially actually.
With the training. Well, I mean, we have our Aussies, but we didn't put the hunting training obviously into the Aussies as we are with these guys, and it's been a wild ride to say the least.
It's a great experience. Great experience. I mean, they love you to death. If you guys don't know what Vizslas are, they are the most loyal, most sensitive. They love you to death. They wake you up in the morning with kisses. They go to bed at night with kisses. They always cuddle. But the in-between.
I had been sent a meme of you have like the 0 to 6 months old and you have like this cute puppy, and then 6 months to 3 years old, it's a Velociraptor. And then 3 years plus is you get your dog back. And that's really where we're at with Remy. Remy is phenomenal right now. Oakley is, it's starting to get into the Velociraptor stage. But a lot of fun, and we're enjoying the ride with this. We have 2 girls right now, and they've been huge helps with us with the puppies and the training and all that kind of.
And Remy's official name is Scatamount Cedar Ridge, and Oakley's official name is going to be Scatamount Sedaris Ridge.
Yes,
Sedaris is the scientific name for cedar, so got a little creative with that one.
Yeah, we did. But anyway, back to our hunting season. You had a really exciting season.
Well, I think we all did.
I agree. You were able to. I mean, you harvested 4 deer.
4 deer.
A buck and 3 does. Tala, our oldest, got a buck and a doe. I harvested my first doe in forever, and that's really not. I just haven't had time. I ended up coaching 3 sports this year, so my hunting time got significantly cut. So I was thrilled to death to harvest a big doe.
But our last couch chat we connected with a bunch of staffers from various regions and talked about what our goals were for the upcoming fall 2023 season, and you and I spoke about how with the unfortunate things we had happen last year with our freezer breaking down and refrigerator and losing all the meat we lost last year, our real goal this year was just to put meat back in the freezer.
Yes.
And as it worked out, man, we were getting a ton of deer in the field every night with only 1 or 2 bucks. Like on average, we would get 40 to 50 deer with 1 or 2 bucks. The rest were does. So it really quickly turned into a doe hunt. That's all, we'd go out and try to shoot as many does as we could. So that's kind of what our focus was. We had opportunities. I had an opportunity early on a nice little 7-point with palmation. And so I knew it was probably in that age range I was looking for, and gave me an opportunity. So I took it. But at that point, we thought there would be more bucks showing up, more mature bucks. Just didn't happen. Didn't happen at all.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot about weather and how the weather impacted a lot of our hunts this year. And in Michigan, we just never had the hard rut like we normally do. So it was very interesting.
Right. Because of the weather.
Yeah, very interesting year that's the first that we've really witnessed that.
I mean, we've all experienced the El Nino, and that's what we're getting out of it now. I mean, we're getting into, spring and leaning towards summer, but really we had one of the warmest winters on record here in Michigan. We had 2 or 3 70-degree days in February, and we had never had that in Michigan ever. And we had a little bit of snow. We had snow on Halloween, but we didn't get snow again until maybe a week ago.
Yeah, we had that blizzard and we missed 4 days of school.
Yeah.
Or I missed 4 days of school.
But even that wasn't even 20 inches of snow in that week. It wasn't very. Really wasn't. Yeah. So typically we get 70 to 80 inches of snow in a typical winter season. This year, I think we got 30, maybe.
Yeah, and that's very unusual for us because we are along the Lake Michigan coast and we get a lot of lake effect snow, and we didn't get it this year. We did not get that this year.
You know, people ask me. So I just got back from a turkey hunt down in Georgia. One of the questions that I was asked during my trip was, "How much ice fishing did you do?" I said, "I haven't done any ice fishing in the last 2 years because we haven't had any ice. We've had all open water. In fact, actually, the last time I went ice fishing was with Drew and Andy and Mason, Andy's son Mason and his wife, on my birthday a couple years ago
in
Minnesota, and they had the hard freeze. We did not, so we haven't had it in a few years. So so Jenna helped me celebrate. Jenna's birthday is actually right after mine, like less than a week after mine. That's
almost birthday twins.
That's when I turned 49, and then she turned. I didn't ask because she's a female. We don't ask females how old they are.
There we go. Good job. But what was exciting for you this year is you got to go on a bear hunt again. It was a quick one, but you got to go on that. I got to go on my first crane hunt. We both essentially, because of the weather, the crane hunt kind of turned into a goose hunt. So that was fun.
So going on the theme of weather, you backtrack to, start with our season of hunting deer, whitetail. Like Heather said, we didn't get the hard rut that we normally get.
No.
Like in previous years, you get a really hard 2.5 week rut at the end of October leading into gun season. And even gun season, you're still seeing a lot of that rutting activity. We didn't see that at all this year. In fact, I had a couple of decent bucks roaming around the property. And when they would show, there were a couple times they showed up right in that time frame, right when it should be peak rut. And I would have just a little spike or a little young buck pushing a hot doe through, and they're out in the field feeding, push them right by them, and they could care less. All they want to do is eat. So we didn't get that hard rut that we've gotten in the last year. So I'm sure that contributed to the fact that we didn't see the quality of bucks or bucks in general that we've seen. That we've seen over previous years.
Well,
just because there was no rutting activity. Really, there was no rutting activity here in Michigan. There was, I'm sure, but it wasn't that hard rut that we normally see.
Well, and then to transition, the next hunt was essentially your bear hunt.
It was my bear hunt,
and you went down to the bear hunt, and that was technically a tropical storm.
Yeah, the bear hunt. We get down there on a Sunday. Cass and I did. We were in North Carolina. Yeah, Cass and I did, and our hunt was supposed to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, I had surgery right after Thanksgiving, and so my first day back was supposed to be the first day of my hunt that I had already taken personal days on. So I couldn't. I had to get back as quickly as I possibly could. So I could only hunt Monday, and that was it. I had to turn around and come back to Michigan, get back to school. Talking to our outfitters, they allowed us to be able to hunt Sunday when we got down there. Had plenty of time. Kess and I got down there early. However, there was a huge storm during that time, lightning, thunder, like up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. And they were telling us, we can put you on stand, but you're going to be way up in my stand I sat on was like 30 feet up. So I was above the treetops. It was pretty funny. And it was pretty cool. And they said, we don't know if we want to put you out there with a storm going, because if it were, I don't know, a few weeks earlier, about a month earlier, they said it would have been a named tropical storm. But because of the time of the year, it wasn't named. And Cass and I just kind of look at each other. We're like, we're from the Midwest. It's always windy in the Midwest. We're going to go up there and sit. So it was really cool. We got up there and we sat and didn't see anything. And then hunted Monday. I had a bear next to me. But if you guys ever bear hunt, you know how keen and how sneaky bear are and how cautious they are. And if they think anything is a little bit not right, they're not going to come out. And so that's kind of what I had. I had a bear literally right next to me, but it's so thick in the North Carolina forest, North Carolina woods. He didn't come out. I could hear him walking. I could hear him huffing a little bit, but decided not to come out. Cass ended up shooting a nice doe, harvested a nice doe. So when he came back. And then after that, we went to Kansas.
Texas.
Well, we met up with the crew in Kansas. Yep. And then headed to Texas for the crane hunt.
So we had the crane hunt. So we had the 2 girls with us, and Tyler, Cass, JJ, Caleb. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I got to go on my first crane hunt, so that was exciting. Definitely, a little different. Yep. And I think you go into a hunt with certain expectations, and I had been probably, because of the success that they had last year in shooting 20 birds and 21 birds in 20 minutes.
You're a little jaded, right?
I was a little jaded, so I thought that's how it was going to be, and that's not how it was. We hunted hard, and we did not max out either day. Had a lot of fun, and I will say it is really cool when they come in. But definitely didn't have any of the huge flocks of them fly in. And the second day, what was really interesting is there was a ton of geese. And last year when you were there, you said there were zero geese.
We saw 3 geese total the entire time. And even when we were driving down, remember we were seeing flock after flock migrating because of the weather. Yeah. So they migrated later.
So yeah, we saw snow geese. We saw speckled bellies. We saw
Canadian,
the Canadians. We saw all kinds of geese, and the cranes were actually getting mixed in with the geese, right. And were confused and wouldn't come down to the decoys. So we had a lot of success. We had a lot of fun, but definitely was not the
not at the rate.
We didn't get the numbers at the rate that
we weren't as efficient. How's that? Yes. So, and it's not because of us. I mean, it was just Mother Nature playing that game that she often plays with us. So just to explain it a little more in detail. So last year, what was happening is they would come in a decoy, and we actually landed 75 birds at one time the year before, and we were able to unload, and we that's how we maxed out so quickly. This year, our first volley came. It was about the same time, 7:30, 7:45, and we had a group of 5 cranes come in, and we put 4 of them down. So right away, I'm sure Tyler was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, holy smokes, here we go again. We're going to max out. We're going to be done by 8:30. We're going to be back at the lodge. So after that, it took another hour.
A lot of single birds coming in.
Before we had a single bird come in, and the 6 of us sitting up and shooting 1 bird. Yeah. five, I guess we had.
We had a couple coyotes come in really close behind us.
Yeah, they had to shoot them because they were so close. But
shot at them.
Shot at them. Yeah, it didn't shoot them. They shot at them. But yeah, they were. The guide said they were like 5 feet away from us. They were right up on us. Like, oh boy, little scary if you're not expecting that, but.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun with that. And then
So, sorry, going back to my point. So comparing that to this year was, like I said, last year we were getting flocks of, we had 3 volleys. And I think the least amount of birds we had in a volley was 20 birds. This year, like Heather said, our first volley was 5, and then we had a lot of singles. We ended up with 8 or 9 the first day.
Yeah, we had 1 volley that I think had 15 birds come in. I think that was our biggest volley that came in, and there was only 1 of those. Everything else, the max was like 4 to 5.
Yeah,
but most of them were singles. We were taking singles down at a time.
So we ended up with 8 or 9 the first day, and we hunted the whole first day. So we got out there, I don't know, 6:30ish, and we were done by 12:30. The cool thing that we really learned this year was that our guide was telling us that we know the hunt's done when the cranes start going back up. They start tornadoing back up into the sky, and they get as high as they possibly can. And he said you're talking thousands of feet up in the air, and then they go to sleep. he said they're asleep when they just sit there and they don't flap. They just glide. They just take the wind. Let the wind take them wherever, which is really cool because yesterday we're up in our cabin right now. Yesterday we were up at a state park, and there were a bunch of cranes. We had a flock of about 25, which we usually don't have cranes at this point in the year. They usually come around.
This is about the time we're starting to get the big migration coming up.
Yeah.
We actually saw them we started to see them probably
about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely we heard them. It's a sound like once you
it's like
hear,
the Texas. Oh, it reminds me of Texas.
Right back
Let's
to
get
Texas.
out there.
So that was,
it's the ribeye.
Yeah. So good. So good.
So good.
But yeah, that was really cool seeing that yesterday, and even the girls were like, "Oh my God, look at the cranes!"
And our sister-in-law was with us.
Yeah.
And we were watching them. I'm like, "Hey Becky, watch this, watch this." They were literally circling. They're tornadoing up
to a point where we couldn't even see them.
And I go, "Just keep watching them. They're going to disappear." And I go, "Look at them right now. They're not flapping their wings. They're just gliding." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I can see that." And then pretty soon they were just gone. They were way up in the clouds. So that was a cool thing for her to experience. So I was explaining to her, and she had no idea. I know Sam, when I talked to Sam about it, Sam was just beside himself. He's like, he had never heard this. Just like us, we had never heard this before. It makes
maybe he lied to
sense.
us. We don't even know. He just lied to us, and we don't know. But it sure sounds good. But we're believing what the guy told us. Yeah. But you recently just came back from your last hunt of really this season.
I did, yeah.
It was kind of a 2-part hunt. You were able to go down and do a coyote hunt in Kentucky with Logan, and then finish it out with a turkey hunt with Kendra.
Yep. So
and toppings.
So going back on our time frame, so we went to crane hunt. That was December. We had the snow goose hunt scheduled for March, our annual Midwest snow goose hunt. Again, because of the weather, they migrated through a lot sooner than what we expected, and so
we couldn't leave. We couldn't go on the hunt earlier.
We couldn't go on the hunt earlier. We missed the migration, so they ended up canceling this year, and we're gonna try to get back at it next year. So again, weather has played a huge impact. So going back to what Heather said, we had Kendra DeBerry, our pro staffer out of Georgia, has put on a turkey hunt the last 2 years. Last year we were headed down to Gulf Shores. That's where we go for our spring break usually. And on our way down to spring break, we stopped in Lafayette, Georgia with Kendra, and I was able to shoot a bird. Really cool experience. Kendra and her son Ethan are just top-notch callers. They know where the birds are. They know how to get you on birds. Just a really great experience. So she put on a second annual, so this year, which was super cool because we were able to meet some people. I was able to meet some people in person that I hadn't met before, some staffers. Obviously, we talk to our staffers all the time. We talk to them virtually. We talk to them on the phone. We email each other. But the real joy is when you get to meet them in person. And so I was able to hook up with Logan Dennison in Kentucky. That's where I stayed the first night. And he took me out on a surprise night coyote hunt, which is super cool. I've never done that before. Here in Michigan, we have coyotes. When you go out and actually hunt them, you never see them. It's just they show up on your camera and they just kind of come by randomly. I've never gone on a night coyote hunt here in Michigan, and so we had a night scope. It's a really cool thing. I don't know, if you guys have ever done that. I'm sure you guys are saying, yeah, that's a pretty cool experience. But the thing is so bright that it was myself, Logan, and one of Logan's friends, so bright that you got to kind of switch. They only brought the one gun. They only had the one night scope. And so Logan was calling, but we had to switch because that scope was so bright that you would go kind of blind for after a while. So we were rotating, and man, the first, Logan set up the caller, and within the first call, 10 minutes later, the whole woods just absolutely lit up with coyotes yelping and howling and stuff like that. We had a coyote come out at about 30 yards in our first setup. He peeked his head real quick, and he looked right at us. So coyotes are really keen, and that's why, like I said, here in Michigan, I don't see them often. When you see them, you run across them accidentally.
Especially in our area.
Yeah, for sure. And so the second setup we had, again, same thing, set it up, hit a call, woods erupted, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden Logan goes, "Did you hear that, guys?" We're like, "What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Something just walked right by us." Like, "What are you talking about?" And then literally it sounded like a dog barking, like Oakley barking at us. It sounded like a dog barking. And Logan's friend Derek had the gun at that point, simply because, like I said, we passed it around because you go blind just by looking. I had it originally. I was scanning. I didn't see anything. And so then Derek goes, "You want me to look?" I said, "Yes," because I can't see anything out of my eye right now. And so he took it. And the dog starts barking at us, and Logan just goes, "Shoot it." Logan and his friend Derek were trying to get me to shoot because I'd never shot it before. So the first coyote that we saw, Logan spotted him, handed me the gun right away, and all I saw was a coyote walking away. Second time, I didn't even get a chance to see him because he was barking, and Logan's like, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. So he shoots him. Pow. So he ended up shooting him. So, and then they gave me the scope because there were more coyotes that were yelping at us. So we were trying to get on more, but it just never happened. But, and then we set up a couple more times and then ended up calling it a day at 1:30 in the morning. And poor Logan and Derek, they had to go to work in the morning. So
when you got up early and headed to
I got up at 8 and headed to Georgia. They got up at 5 and went to work. So I kind of feel bad that I kept them up, but it was quite a cool experience, very cool experience. So then we headed to Georgia and got to meet the Toppings, Audrey and her husband TJ, for the first time in person. Like I said, we talk to each other all the time, but really cool meeting those guys. And we were able to hang out all night. Had a personal concert put on. That was super fun. Kendra pulled out her fiddle and started playing her fiddle, and her boyfriend Ken was playing the drums and piano, yeah. And then Ken's brother was playing the guitar, and they were singing different songs. It was so cool. We were just set up in the living room, and it was just really, really cool. So I got up in the morning on our first set, had a couple hens come out, and just kind of meandered in the field. We had a Tom actually responding to us right away when Kendra was calling, but he was way off in the distance. He never actually came to us and showed up in the field. We did have some deer show up literally 5 feet behind us as we were, because typically when we turkey hunt, you sit at the base of a tree and just sit there. And Kendra was calling. I'm like, Kendra, Kendra. She had a couple deer right over her shoulder. I'm like, left shoulder. So at any rate, spent the whole day turkey hunting. We did get a play on one Tom, but he disappeared before we actually got a shot off. So super cool experience. So super fun to hang out with Kendra. Super fun to hang out with any staffers. Super fun to experience the things that we experienced. The really, really cool thing that we learned during our trip to Kendra and her boyfriend Ken's, the cabin we stayed in was right on Ken's property, was that he has a couple of caves on his property. So he lives right at the base of a mountain, and they have a couple of caves that they hired some archaeologists to come through and just kind of map out the cave. And what they found was, when they get to the top, and it's probably like a 300 or 400 foot incline to get to the top, they got to the top, they found some ancient Cherokee hieroglyphics up on the wall. So they were trying to decipher that, and they were taking their paintings and stuff like that. So that was really cool. And Audrey was trying to get TJ and I to go up, but as fit as we were like, we're saving our energy for the hunt. And Kendra's like, let's go. And
I would have gone.
I said to Audrey several times, Heather would be right up there with you.
I was at home tending the farm, so it's okay though.
But they did see the athletic skills that I possessed when I went halfway into the creek when I tried to jump
in and went
halfway in the creek. So anyway.
Yeah. So what was if you picked one thing, what was the highlight of 2023, beginning of 24 hunting season?
Oh, you guys harvesting your animals. I really like the fact that you guys, because the goal that we set was that we wanted to put meat in their freezer. That was a number one goal. And I know with you and Tala harvesting the animals that you harvested, you felt that sense of accomplishment and the pride of the fact that you're contributing to our ultimate goal of just putting meat in the freezer.
Yeah. And
to do it essentially on your own. I mean, with you, I was sitting across, but in fact, you shot the deer before I was even ready to. I was looking at a different deer. Yeah, she was ready. and Tala, both times, I mean, she's really close to being able just to put it in a tree by herself.
Almost there.
Almost there during both seasons. She shot the doe, and the does we shot were nice does. Every doe we shot was huge.
She shot the biggest doe.
Yeah, that field dressed at like 140. If you add 30 pounds with guts, I mean, 170-pound doe is a huge doe.
Everything we could to put it into the cart.
I think the smallest doe.
Mine field dressed 125.
So 30 pounds, 155. Yeah, so that's a big doe too. And so, like I said, I think the smallest doe.
All the other ones were right around 100.
Well, no, the one I shot was huge.
No, that one. Yeah.
The smallest deer we shot was, don't tell Tala, but that buck that she shot.
The buck she shot. Yeah. That she was proud of it though. It was the first one with her gun.
She was very proud of it.
No, she get the yeah.
It was the first one with the gun. That's the gun we bought for her birthday.
Last year.
She got scared because she didn't like the recoil.
And then she realized she's just fine with it.
Yeah, she realizes that when you shoot, you don't even realize that it kicks because your adrenaline is going so much, and that's what she realized. She's like, "This is awesome."
That's right. I forgot about that.
We got to get Pipey into it next year. That's my main goal next year. We got to get Pipey into it.
Hunter safety for Pipe.
Hunter safety and get her out in the woods and.
Well, and we have a super exciting hunt that we have planned with.
Came from turkey camp, by the way. And we always talk about the best ideas come from camps.
Yeah.
Audrey and Tyler brought this up at
bucket list. I've wanted to go to the Florida Keys for a really long time. I've actually wanted to go there on spring break, but my family, I'm outvoted 3-1 to go back to Gulf Shores every year. However, we are going to go down there with the Toppings and hopefully a few other staff members, and we are going to do
Kendra's coming
fishing.
Down,
yeah, deep sea fishing. We're going to try lobstering
during mahi season.
We're going to try to get some mahi, and then
your favorite, Sam's favorite. Oh my gosh!
No.
If you guys could email, text Sam about his phobia with snakes. We thought that this was like a. As soon as I said snake, Sam's response was, "Nope, I'm out. Not doing that one."
So anyway, we are going to go to the Everglades and we are going to hunt
pythons.
Python. I
and
was going
iguana.
to say boas. It's not boas. It's pythons.
And through our research, what we realized is that, and I don't know the exact details of this, but Florida is like paying people to hunt.
It's a
pythons,
huge invasive species down there, and they've caused so much damage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're looking at doing that, and maybe some iguana hunting. I don't know. We'll see what else we can do in the end of July, beginning of August. But we're definitely excited. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to go.
Be based out of Key Largo.
Yeah.
And then I hear the Beach Boys. We might have the Beach Boys on the porch. Who knows?
We might. I don't know.
Might go down to Kokomo.
Who knows?
Check out some Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to go see or go try lobstering. Like
I am too.
I think that's going to be for sure.
I am too.
Much fun. I think
it's such a unique hunt if you think about it.
So many different things.
Lobster, deep sea fishing for mahi, python, iguana. You know, how often have you seen that combination, if ever?
I don't know. You know what? If there's something else that we can throw in there, we'll throw it in there. Who knows? Yeah. So yeah, we're super excited for what's coming up.
We're Northerners and it's going to be hot, but
I can't wait.
Funny thing is, Audrey asked me this. The first morning we go out on our turkey hunt, 38 degrees. She's freezing. Her and Tyler are freezing. This is ridiculous. So cold. Todd, how do you put up with this? I'm like, this is perfect for me. I mean, right now it's like 30 degrees outside. We had snow today. Yeah. And we're talking, it's April, what is this, April 3rd, 4th? 4th. And when I talked to Tyler yesterday, he had just gotten home and it was 91 degrees in Florida.
I cannot wait. That sounds amazing.
And so they asked me about too. So when I went to Texas with Sam and our first day of hog hunting was 120 degrees, they said, well, how did you manage? You're not used to that. So no, I'm not used to it, but really wasn't focused on the heat. I was focused on the fact that we're hunting and we're hanging out together and that sort of thing. And so, yes, you got to find ways to keep yourself hydrated and find ways to keep yourself safe, find ways to keep yourself cool, which is what we'll have to do when we go to Florida in August or end of July, beginning of August. But ultimately, my focus is on, hanging out with the people around me and just having fun. And so
it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah. I can't wait. So
stay tuned because we've got some exciting stuff coming up. Besides that hunt, we've got some other things that we've got planned and in the works. But thank you for joining us for another couch chat. And as always,
stay obsessed.